Welcome to the Dugout. I've been missing you guys a lot because I haven't got the opportunity to be spending a lot of time on Sports Today because of TV commitments. So I was really looking forward to this episode of the Dugout for a few reasons. One, because I haven't got too many chances to meet all of you. And secondly, today after 40 odd days of non-stop action, we've got a day off at the World Cup. No match. Usually most of our shows are pre-match, mid-match, and most days games have been crucial for some team or the other to qualify. Now that all of that is done and dusted, we can focus on the semi-final and all the news that is coming around from the world of cricket, with India heading in to once again a semi-final with who else but New Zealand. But the question we'll try and raise today is this the most well-prepared Indian team to go into an ICC knockout? That's the question.
I think 2019 we were equally well prepared. We had the wherewithal, we had every resource. I think the bad half hour came to haunt us, as it did a couple of other times as well in the years to come. But I don't think resources or the wherewithal was a problem for the Indian team back in 2019. Couple of these guys were the same players who played right up top. Has the skill set changed for Rohit Sharma? Has the skill set changed for Virat Kohli? I doubt. These guys were there when you talk about...
But they were different. So that team lost to England. That team had a washout against New Zealand. So we don't know. Here they are going. So you went into that semi-final without having played New Zealand in the tournament. And you had a loss to England also. Here you're going like the kings of the world.
But even then, what was the narrative before the semi-final? Then also...
That's your fault. You guys build the narrative, you Indian media. We are the greatest.
We make a lot of mall.
We are doing narrative building in this conversation
No, but 2019 there was one clear and obvious glaring hole. Number 4. You knew the day that top 3 didn't step up, who was going to be the person to rebuild your innings. Now you can say you've got a Shreyas Iyer, you've even got a KL at number 5 who can do that job. But then you had 4 number 4s.
And the other big difference from that is that you could have had that bad half hour because of the conditions. You're playing in England. Now you're playing at home grounds and home conditions. So even that then goes... see, like in that World Cup, a Matt Henry, a Trent Bolt did look dangerous, right? In this World Cup, the New Zealand bowling has been slaughtered. Trent Bolt has not been the same. Lockie Ferguson has not been the same. Saudi got hammered in the few games that he played. So, and I know that is the kind of bowling that if you give them those sort of conditions, they can really be very potent. But that's not the condition you're getting. Though, mind you, I must say one thing about this game that is happening at the Wankhede, and we'll try and do a statistical deep dive into it. Harshit will do that. So please do a video for digital also after you put that together. The same data you can carry. Where I think what we are getting to see at the Wankhede is that when you're batting second under the lights, that first 10-15 overs are deadly. So most teams lose while chasing because that first spell with the new ball is where each team ends up losing big 3-4 wickets, and from there on they can sometimes consolidate, rebuild, but you know, a game can be lost if you lose your 4 wickets for 20-25 runs, and that can happen to an Indian team though, even though Shane has pointed out, and quite valid there, that now you have a Shreyas Iyer doing well, a KL Rahul doing well, and mind you, India had a similar situation versus Australia in Chennai, but they found a way to recover from there. So that is a situation you can still have, even though I'm talking about Trent Bolt not doing well. But if that first, half hour, 40 minutes or 1 hour at the Wankhede under lights, if you have lost the toss and you've been put to chase, that can be tricky. So you can then be in a situation, and mind you, this New Zealand team can get runs. They got 400 plus versus Pakistan. They almost chased down 400 against Australia. So this is a team that can. So let's say if they were winning the toss and batting first, you know that this team can easily get 300 plus. Even though Indian bowlers have been outstanding, they did that versus the same Indian bowling attack at Dharamshala. The difference is that this Indian batting lineup could chase it down. but the difference would be in Wankhede. Yes, Rajdeep, please come. We were
Sorry.
waiting.
No, please say, please say.
No. He was holding the fort for you. That's why I didn't even plug it.
Oh dear.
So that has been the one difference. The question that we were asking, and I know that you, how long do you have?
I'm here till 7:45.
Oh, that's a lot. By the time we'll be done. The question that we were raising, and we'd love to know your thoughts, was that is this the best prepared Indian team going into a World Cup? Harshit here at a point, he said that, listen, last edition of the World Cup, 2019 also we were saying this, we were all celebrating as soon as India drew New Zealand, and then that bad 1/2 hour, everything was lost. What do you make of this Indian team's campaign?
First of all, Nikhil, I don't think you should compare 2019 to 23 because the fact is this is being played at home. Makes a huge difference. I would tend to agree that given the fact that it's being played at home, I think we've done fantastically well to handle the pressure, the expectations. In that sense, we could compare to 2011, right? In 2011, the Indian team had a solid nucleus. Players of Sachin Tendulkar's experience, Mahendra Singh Dhoni's leadership qualities, as well as emerging talents like Virat Kohli, plus a Zahir Khan and the kind of Harbhajan Singh with the experience, and then the young Ravichandran Ashwin. So you had more or less got your act together several months in advance. That team was built over 2 or 3 years. Look at Kirsten from 29 to 2008, 9 to 11. He built that team. You dropped the big guns, the Gangulis, the Dravids, and you ushered in a new era. In a way, you could argue that this team is even better prepared, especially on the bowling front. I mean, these 3 fast bowlers have just transformed this World Cup. I think that's where we got it wrong. I think the worry, I remember talking to a lot of people before the World Cup, including Zahir Khan and others. I think their concern was the bowling. You always knew we had the batting path. There was talk of number 4. Are we going to have on Indian conditions? Shreyas Iyer is a dominating batsman. I mean, my old friends in Mumbai tell me you should just see him bat in Ranji Trophy. He destroys attacks.
But why are you saying Indian conditions? Because if he was to hear this, he'd be rather upset. He recently, I don't know, did you see that soundbite where there was a journalist very politely asked him that you've gotten out a few times to the short pitch delivery, so are you working on that problem against short pitch? And he said, what do you mean I have a problem against short pitch deliveries?
And he was asked, just to add to that, in the same vein that journalist said that okay, now you'll be up against the South African side, which is actually very good at executing the short ball. So he got a little chirpy,
to put it politely.
Yeah.
Dekho boss, barring 2 or 3 Indian batsmen, nobody can claim that, we were terrific against the short ball. You had the odd players who actually relished playing the short ball. I mean, a Mohinder Amarnath, for example, at his peak, was, and that was Malcolm Marshall and Imran Khan, which according to me was another level of, and there were no restrictions on bouncers. Now there are restrictions.
No,
but the reason I said foreign and Indian is I do believe there is a difference. Look at England as a classic example. I was watching a very interesting conversation that Mike Atherton and Nasir Hussain and Morgan were having, reflecting back on England's campaign. And for all that they said, my basic takeaway was that, look guys, when we were in England, we were in our comfort zone. When you come to India, they're out of their comfort zone. Similarly, we are in our comfort zone. I'm not saying that Shreyas Iyer wouldn't score in England. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is his comfort zone. He knows the Wankhede better than anyone else. Actually, semi-final in Wankhede, I could be wrong. I think he scored more runs there, first class runs, than any of the other 11 players in the Indian team. He was a destroyer of attacks in Ranji Trophy. He has some record of the number of sixes he's hit of spinners in first class cricket.
Which he would do anywhere in the world.
Which he would do.
Outstanding again.
Yeah, but there I will play, if I'm playing the other teams will play 4 fast bowlers, right? Here you have perforce for a Santner, for example, may not be half as effective in England as he is in India.
Sure.
So I think in Indian conditions, this team, to answer your original question, has ticked all the boxes. And for that, if you want to call that preparation, you want to call that foresight, I think they've got it right. And kudos to them. I mean, we as observers, I think, thought that our fast bowling would be weak. I remember one of the things told to me, but do we have a 5th bowler? What if one of the bowlers has a bad day? Hell, none of the bowlers have had a single bad day. I'm trying to think, has any, maybe Siraj in one of the games went for a few.
Siraj has been
has been up and down at times, but he's getting wickets. Even when he's up and down, he picks up a wicket or two.
True.
So, I mean, what's the box left to tick, Nikhil? What are you worried about?
The only box that was left to tick was, as you're saying, the sixth bowling option, because as soon as Hardik went, and you tried to compensate for that, you got in two changes. You got Suryakumar Yadav and you got Shami. That looked very good on paper because now 7 batters playing and Shami coming in. But you missed the 6 bowling option. So you saw the game yesterday. India has not only now got 6, they have got 9, 10 bowling options. Rohit Sharma bowled, Virat Kohli, as Rahul Dravid described him, the wrong-footed, in-swinging menace. Virat picked up a wicket too. So by the way, Rohit, I remember him bowling in the IPL days, but he was outstanding. The typical off-spin loop he has, which is such a rarity nowadays because most off-spinners are bowling flatter, quicker. He had that loop, very genuine, old-school off-spin action. Looked very, very good. And
you mentioned Rohit. I was just speaking to his coach, Dinesh Lad.
Yes.
And I was just telling Dinesh, do you remember Rohit ever bowling? And he said he used to bowl very well in school cricket.
No, he was a bowler. He was a bowler.
He has an IPL hat-trick.
If you ask Mr. Lad.
He has 2 IPL hat-tricks?
Yes.
Yes. One with Deccan Chargers and one with Mumbai Indians.
Wow. That's a great trivia question, yeah.
I read a book written by a good friend, Mr. Vijay Lokpalli. He's written a book on
on Rohit.
And I read that, and that's when I realized, because Dinesh Lad was interviewed. So Dinesh Lad says that he actually, when he left and started staying in his uncle's house, pretty much like Sachin's case, he was an off spinner. So he was in the school team as an off spinner, not as a batter.
Maybe under 19
one day he in the school team, he was in Swami Vivekanand in Borivali, the school which is known for its cricket. Then he said, okay, bat on top. Mr. Lad said that I saw him bat in the nets, look good. So I said, okay, let me push him a little bit higher up the batting order. And he would never say that, push me up. And that's when the batter in him flashed.
Is Virendra Sehwag also similar? Started off as a bit of an off spinner and then eventually became the...
No, he was always a batter but would bowl also a lot. But in Rohit's case, he started, I think it's the opposite of Ajit. I remember Ajit Agarkar reading a lot of things that he was actually in his under 15 days a batter. He would bowl a few, but he was a batter and then eventually played.
The only worry I have, and apart from the fact that I'm going to see the match, so I don't know, the only worry I have is the Wankhede Stadium itself.
I wanted to ask you about this. So you know the Wankhede very well.
Yeah.
The one big worry is, we've seen it through this World Cup. No team chasing is winning apart from that Australia, which was like once in a lifetime knock.
Yeah.
So teams chasing, because they're saying that when you're chasing, that first half hour, 45 minutes, the ball with the fast bowler, new ball does a lot, with the ocean breeze also coming in. And most teams have been losing their first 4-5 wickets in that first 10-15 overs, and from there on it becomes very difficult to chase. So lose the toss, then you are up against it.
And I played at the Wankhede a few times in under 15, under 19, and I scored runs. So you can imagine how good a batting wicket it is. How
batting in the first inning.
Well, I was one was again as a 14-year-old against Gujarat, where I batted the full day. I barely could hit the ball outside the square. You just had to bat on the wicket. But it was, even for mediocre cricketers like me, it was a place to relish as a batsman, and it's always been a batting paradise. In Test cricket, you've had the sort of red soil, and you can create a turner. Our old friend Mr. Sudhir Naik was the curator, and he could tell you, he was a terrific person to understand a wicket, and he could tell you when the wicket would turn. So you've had like that Australia match when Michael Clarke takes 6 wickets and Karthik takes 10, where the ball can turn. But that's not going to happen in a World Cup. That's not going to happen in a World Cup semi. So it's a good batting wicket. And that good batting wicket, given the timings of the match, from 2 to 6 is the best time to bat. Because the bowlers have to play under intense humidity. The sea breeze that you spoke about doesn't quite start flowing in to the same extent. And it's a pretty much locked in stadium in that sense. So you can really feel the heat and the humidity, and it peaks around 233. So you could be batting first and take advantage of the no sea breeze, high humidity, relatively good batting wicket, relatively small ground, and put 300. Right? And then you are under pressure chasing. I mean, I was stunned by that guy, which you guys also told me and I saw on air, 284 or 286 is the highest score chased in the Wankhede. Ironically, by New Zealand.
Yes.
By when Latham and Ross Taylor got hundreds.
Yeah.
But generally, Wankhede is a great ground to bat first, score those runs. And when you've got a Trent Bolt and a Saudi, they will relish bowling in the evening. They will not relish bowling in the afternoon. So without jinxing anything, I think the toss is important against New Zealand. You want to win the toss, you want to bat first, you want to put out those runs and put the New Zealanders under pressure with our fast bowling. I am frankly a bit surprised when you said, the ball starts moving around, breeze. Generally, the Wankhede is a good wicket right through. There have been IPL matches where teams have chased 200 plus batting second, but there is, that's 8:39 in the night.
Correct.
So you've got to look at all that, and I think the English got that horribly wrong in that game against South Africa. But barring that, I can't see how New Zealand can beat us. This is formidable. I'm just blown away by this Indian team.
No, so that phase, as you're saying, IPL games, because they start at 8. So there's that phase, and because we were looking at a bit of a data, and we'll do a in-depth analysis of that a little later on Sports Today. But we were looking at the data. It's that twilight area that when you come into bat till about 7. So, what has happened with the Indian team? Unless they decide that they're going to change their approach, which I doubt they will, because Rohit's decided that he needs to, really set the tempo.
He's the enforcer.
And he has to, because I tell you, I was there at that T20 World Cup and they played that semi-final versus England, and they just didn't turn up. They were not ready to play a semi-final, and what they played was percentage cricket, safe cricket. Later realizing, once they'd finished batting first, that listen, what we played was normal cricket on a big day like the semi-final. We should have upped our game a couple of notches, and Rohit said that, and I think he took that lesson from that game, and which is why he has taken it upon himself that listen, I have to set that tempo. I have to tell everyone that we're here to win, we're to play aggressive. And does he now change that, a template he's followed throughout this World Cup that has made him successful, the team successful, and keep it in mind that listen, here at the Wankhede, if we are chasing that 1 hour, let me, that old school batting, let me give it to the bowlers, and once I do, then we can chase 350 if we want.
See, if India are batting second, and I don't want that to happen because the numbers are heavily stacked against teams batting second. I was looking at those scores. 357 is the average total for the loss of 4 wickets if batting first at the Wankhede.
Really?
Wow.
In the second innings, it's down to 188 for the loss of 7 wickets.
This is over the years.
This is just this World Cup you are looking at.
Just this World Cup, okay. Yeah, but
because the timing at this World Cup,
and that 188, I'm just guessing, it would be looking like it's 188 right now because of Maxwell. Otherwise, if it wasn't for Maxwell, it wouldn't even be 188.
I mean, lest we forget that match against Afghanistan. It was Naveen ul Haq, a fast bowler who's best known for a slow ball, who was getting wicked in swing, and no one was able to touch him.
So was the other guy,
Azmatullah.
Azmatullah. I mean, look, that has surprised me, the amount of movement the Indian fast bowlers have been able to get, and I think it surprised the world. And I think all these countries who came into the World Cup with bowlers who specialize in English conditions, the Wokes of the world, or indeed a Hazelwood from Australia, have struggled to hit the seam as much as Indian, and then they quickly go to plan B and then they get whacked for that.
The short ball.
To the short ball. And the Indian fast bowlers haven't had to go to plan B, especially Bumrah. I mean, Bumrah is special. I think that we got right at the start of the World Cup, that if Bumrah fires, India has a great chance. I mean, he is your match winner. We keep talking about the batsman, but I think Bumrah is the one who's the standout. I don't think any team I think they're intimidated by Bumrah. I mean, I hear them speak about Bumrah almost with awe.
The one thing I like about this Indian team, I don't know if you heard, Rahul Dravid spoke yesterday, and he was asked about the game, and he said that if I was to tell you that this is just another game, then that would be me lying. It is not that. Because while we keep saying processes and things like that, we know what happened last time around. We know this is a World Cup. One game you lose, the expectation over. We know all of that. But what I liked about what he said and what Rohit Sharma has been saying throughout, that I think that when they went into this World Cup, they were prepared for this day. As in, they worked their way for this day, that they knew that they will come a stage like the semi-final stage where they have to, and all their preparation has gone towards that. There's a clip that went viral, and Rohit Sharma, fans screaming, and he was walking down the bus and fans screaming and saying, "Arey Rohit bhai," when they were 3-8-0 up or something like that, "Rohit bhai, ab to World Cup," and he said,
"Those are the airport.
Abhi time hai." So I mean, he had that in his mind, that don't jump the gun, don't get ahead of us.
Let me say something about Rohit Sharma that is quite, I think special, is that he doesn't come with baggage, even when he's batted. Barring the early phase of his career, when obviously you're getting your feet right in the game, he plays with an incredible sense of freedom, and that has translated into his captaincy. Why is Mumbai Indians, a team which, ask anyone within the game, the most difficult team to play for or lead, I mean in his case lead, is Mumbai Indians. Because you don't have just the pressure of winning the IPL, you've got the Ambanis, Neeta Ambani there at the boundary line, the camera is on her, there's a lot of pressure. I've heard cricketers tell me it's much more difficult playing for the IPL franchise at times than India. So he's gone through that and he's won 5 IPLs as captain?
Yes,
and that's incredible. When you think of it, he took over from Ricky Ponting in the middle of a season where Mumbai Indians was going nowhere and took them to victory. He's a terrific captain, and a lot of similarities between him and Dhoni. They're very calm themselves. Occasionally Rohit will sort of utter an expletive,
bad words, yeah.
but he's gone through the grind, as you said, stayed with his uncle, has done the tough things. And this is my theory, and it could be horribly wrong, but when you've done that journey and you've turned from Borivali to Wankhede, यार वो कर लिया है, वो ट्रेन में बैठ के, लोकल ट्रेन में बैठ के, you've come from nowhere, and it would be I think he's the right person at the right time to handle pressure, just as Dhoni was. In India, I think once you handle the pressure of expectations, an Indian team at the moment, outperforms. So I think Rohit is just the right person at the right time. There's a calmness that he exudes. And hopefully these two games are about which team handles the pressure best. I mean, the reason why I see Australia as the biggest challenge is because the one thing about the Australians, they know how to play big match cricket, as they've shown.
The only difference,
and New Zealand, because they have nothing to lose.
But I tell you, the only thing that now does not worry me much about Australia or South Africa as much as New Zealand. And I've said it earlier as well. If you look at this tournament, the only team that even came close to troubling India was New Zealand. And remember, on a day when New Zealand, I don't think got everything right. So, for example, their top order did not fire. Conway really didn't come to the. We know he can. Anyway, India picks up those wickets. Then they have a bit of a partnership. They reach a situation where it looked like they should get 400, and they have a collapse. A lower order collapse is something that we've not seen with New Zealand in this tournament. They in fact almost chased down 400 versus Australia with their lower order chipping in, with Nisham batting at number 9 on that occasion. So that didn't work for them. Then despite Rohit and Shubman giving you a good start, you still reached a stage where you were nervous and biting your nails saying, you could lose, and then Virat played that outstanding knock to kill. So I'm saying when things didn't go in their favour, still give you a fight.
And there was no Williamson in that game.
Yes.
He's back.
He's back. That's all. So this is a
He's
team
the spine.
that can notch up 350 plus on any given.
How good is he been?
Half their batter.
Rachin Ravindra
is the story of this.
Kuch nahi dekhe, India is
story of
winning.
this
You see, I want to tell you something. The reason I'm going to see this game is I was trying to think. I've seen about a dozen games of India over the years in World Cups. We've never lost. Including to the mighty West Indies in 1983.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to think, when I remember watching Sachin score a half century when we beat Pakistan in 92 at the ground. I watched India. I watched that one game, India-Australia, where we lost on the last ball in 92.
92.
That's probably the only one. But then everywhere else that I've gone. And no, there are two. Yeah, that's the trouble. The second one was here at the Kotla in '96 when Kalu Virtana and Jayasuriya went mad.
Where Prabhakar bowled.
Yeah, but okay, 80%. Let's put it this way: 80% of the games that I've watched of the Indian cricket team, we won. That's a good stat. And therefore, that apart, I just think that I think we've all are worried because we see ourselves through the lens of past pressure game. New Zealand has been a tough opponent, but I think this Indian team has something special. I mean, I was reluctant to admit it at the start of the tournament, but I think now compared to 83 and 2011, this is a better team. Let's accept it now.
Who's your man of the tournament? Let's go around the room. Who's the man of the tournament so far?
That's a tough one because again, I think it's a toss-up between maybe Kohli and Bumrah, but I can't pick one. I think both have had equally good contributions. You can't pick one from them.
Rohit?
Rohit, that's what I'm saying. It's a
Cricket Australia picked their dream 11
I saw that.
for the World Cup. They haven't picked Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, so I had one, we have a WhatsApp group.
And they picked David Warner there.
Yeah, so I had
Kohli is the captain.
I had two problems with that. One was, I think, Rohit Sharma for David Warner. I mean, Warner is playing basically on memory, according to me. He's not the Warner of 8 years ago, destroying bowling.
True.
And many of his runs have been scored against relatively weaker sides. So I would pick Rohit any day over Warner. I would also pick, more controversially, KL Rahul over Markram. I know Markram's also had a terrific World Cup.
Yeah.
So I had 5 Indians, apart from the other 3 that they had. They had Jadeja, Shami and Bumrah, right? And I would pick these 2. I think Zampa is arguably the best spinner at the moment in terms of an attacking spinner, along with Jadeja. So you've got those 2 there. And the rest fit in. I think Quinton de Kock deserves his place. He's been terrific at the top of the order.
So does Rachin.
And so does Rachin Ravindra. He's been the find of the tournament. Man of the tournament is a tough one to answer, you're right. Find of the tournament, Rachin Ravindra, without a shadow of a doubt. Man of the tournament, I know Bumrah hasn't taken enough wickets, but I just think what he's done is he's intimidated the other side.
No, he's got the best economy in the power play.
Yeah.
He's not, so that wicket section may not reflect him in great light or put him in great light, but you look at the economy, it's the same with what Rohit. Rohit's there in the top 5, by the way. He may not be top 3, but look at the strike rate amongst all top 5.
Yeah.
It's his strike rate that sets him apart. So my answer to that question is Rohit Sharma. 9 zip plus the runs, he's in top 5.
And captain.
He's top 5.
But for me, the biggest talking point is the Indian fast bowling attack or the Indian bowlers, and therefore Bumrah as the leader of the pack is my man of the man of the tournament so far.
Bumrah, you said Kohli.
I said Kohli, Bumrah. I'll stick.
How many wickets has Bumrah taken? About 10,
11,
12. So 17
9 matches, 17 wickets.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. So he's, he look at that. Look at the economy rate, 3.65 in Indian conditions. I mean, bowling at the top in the power play and then again coming back at the death. I mean, this is fine. And I'm telling you, he seems to, listening to other batsmen talk about Bumrah, it's like, in the olden days, you'd hear them talking about Malcolm Marshall, and there was awe, whenever you hear any batsman speak about Malcolm Marshall, they were awestruck. And I think Bumrah is not so much fear as awe. I don't think he's not as fiery as a Marshall was. That was another level. But Bumrah is pretty much out there, and I think because of him, we've got 10 overs covered, and he inspires the others. He seems to understand what a weakness of a batsman is very quickly. I mean, it's quite incredible. And almost his first over is always, you never get a loose ball from Bumrah. You don't have that, that sort of ball to free yourself and take strike. If he is attacked and if he has a bad day, which I don't think he's going to have because he's a big match player, that's my only worry for this Indian team. If New Zealand bats first, our fast bowlers, 2 of the 3 have a bad day, that's their only hope. I think, Nikhil, 9 times out of 10 we'll beat this New Zealand team. The problem is, as we found in '83, there's always that one day when the other side can have their moment in the sun. And I will, I'm also a bit of a romantic about these things, and I believe in divine justice. I thought New Zealand was robbed of 2019. I've always believed that I know you say it's within the rules, that ball hitting Stokes bad and went for 4. Come on, guys. They deserve that World Cup. I'm not saying they deserve this. I think India deserves this World Cup. Just when you won 9 matches out of 9, you deserve to win the 2 knockout games. Come on, guys. I mean, let's be positive.
But I wouldn't put it 9 times out of 10. I'd say like 6 times out of 10 or 7 times out of 10, India would beat New Zealand. 7 maybe.
Really? You're saying they'll beat us 3 times in Indian conditions?
Yeah, absolutly. I mean, in Indian conditions, they've
come on, Nikhil, you're being very, very. This is the old India, that they might have a chance, and a new India 9 times out of 10.
I am saying my man of the tournament would be the team that wins the World Cup. Or
no, you asked us today. You can't now tell who's going to win. Who's the man of the tournament as of today?
I'm telling you, if not winning the tournament, at least reaching the final. So if India win the World Cup, it'll probably be Jasprit Bumrah. If New Zealand win the World Cup, maybe Rachin Ravindra. If Australia win the World Cup, it could be Glenn Maxwell.
Or Zampa.
Mitch Marsh.
Or whoever scores in the semi-finals.
200s, which are incredible, Maxwell already. Won the quickest in the World Cup.
40 balls.
Afghanistan.
Just as a war, if you ask this question before the 96, just to give an example, 96 World Cup, before the semis, I don't think people would have said Arvind. Wouldn't have said before the semis.
I agree.
And then he goes in the semis, scores a blistering half century when they are 2 down for nothing in Calcutta, and then scores 100 in the final, becomes virtually, I mean, if I think of the 96 World Cup, I think of Arvinda.
Exactly.
Apart from Jayasuriya and Kaluvirtana, he was for me the man of the match. So I think the man of the tournament will be decided based on who performs semi-finals, finals. And there will be that one individual.
In 83.
So was Amarnath in 83. That's right.
Finals,
Semis, finals, and became the man of the tournament effectively.
Yeah.
So Kapil Dev scored his 173 against Zimbabwe, but it was really Amarnath who took you in those 2 big matches. You need big match players now. And I think we have 4 or 5 big match players. I think Ravi Jadeja is a big match player. I think Rohit is a big match player. I think Virat is a big match player. And I think Jasprit is a big man player. And I think Mohammad Shami, jigar hai yaar. Jigar. This is now about jigar. You see, semi-finals, finals is about who has the jigar to want to win that. You know, there are people who freeze in big matches. Some of the best players in the world can freeze on the big stage. I don't know whether New Zealand has enough of those big match players at the moment. The reason I keep saying Australia, I worry about, Australia has those players. We saw Mitch Marsh in a T20 World Cup take them to a victory. Steve Smith is the kind of player who will want to prove himself. David Warner also, you see him in the IPL. He scored in big matches, won them a tournament virtually of his own bat once. So knows
New
India
Zealand
well.
have Kane Williamson. New Zealand have Trent Bolt on a
I fear Daryl Mitchell in that middle order. He plays spin well.
Okay,
he's got some big scores.
Rajdeep has to go, so we'll have to take a questions. Lots of super chats. So this is Soumya Das Gupta. He's saying, Rajdeep, your book Democracy 11 is a terrific book. Cricketers who have had an impact beyond their game and role. It is also like a book of a common fan having his favorite 11 in that side. Just an example, I would have Jimmy Amarnath in my favorite all-time 11 that he would make.
Good. I hope you're buying the book. It's now in paperback as well.
He must have bought it. That's how he read it.
But I hope you're going to get others to buy it. Okay. No, Jimmy Amarnath. I saw a statistic the other day. Jimmy Amarnath has one of the best records of Indians outside India. Of Indian players, better than Chiteshwar Pujara, better than lots of other great players of our times. He's terrific. He's he was a big match player.
Absolutely.
Big match.
We've got Prithvi Patnaik saying, Rajdeep, I think you would agree with me that Bumrah is the best player India has produced since Sachin, especially in today's time when there is not spice in the pitches and 2 new balls, it has become a batsman's game.
Absolutely, and when I see Bumrah doing advertisements, Bumrah's arrived. In this country, we've always focused on the batters.
Correct.
So I think that would be. Let's think about it. Has there ever been a tournament where any of us would have thought Indian fast bowler would be the man of a tournament?
Never.
You see, even in 85, when we won the Champions of Champions, Ravi Shastri got the Audi. Which he's never made any of us forget also. Reminds everyone of... The Audi is still there, by the way, in the garage.
Audi has also not made us forget because he's still associated with the brand.
Right.
I think this has to be the longest association of a sports player with a brand.
That's right. So we had a friend's 60th birthday, a common friend of ours, and we wanted Ravi to come to the party in the Audi, thinking that we'd sort of use it as part of our nostalgia. But yeah, so I don't think that's ever happened that a fast bowler has done it. So I agree with you entirely. I think Jasprit Bumrah, he set up a bit of a fast bowling revolution in this country. I mean, we've got another lot of people hopefully coming in, the next lot who are quick. Prasidh Krishna looks terrific.
He's very quick. He's quick. We've had a few. Mohsin got injured. We had Khalil Ahmed who got injured.
That's right.
There was
but not in the Bumrah. Bumrah is a once in a generation.
He's
generational.
That's right. So that I think is where the question is right. Sachin is generational. So is Bumrah.
And what's more remarkable about Bumrah of now is the fact that he's coming off injury. Back injury, we've seen actions change, we've seen run-ups change, we've seen speeds drop.
Absolutely, good point, great point. And he's doing what? He's bowling of 10 to 12 steps at times, without any loss of pace or without any loss of direction.
Or change of action, nothing.
So and as I said, every time I watch him, I think he knows he's sized the batsman up. So I think the batsman also knows that That's where he has that X factor. So you can talk about all your Williamsons and all. Tomorrow, when the ball starts moving, as we say in Mumbai, Janba tukaram for this New Zealand team. The ball is going to move all around.
I'm telling you, if there's one team that wouldn't mind the ball moving, even the batters, it's got to be New Zealand, right? Because they're born and brought up in conditions like that. So
Nikhil, you're taking this.
I want
our
you guys-
conversation. I agree with you that it's probably the team that we didn't want to play.
I know that India are favourites. I want India to win. You have to have a devil's advocate who needs to show you the other side so that you don't get carried away and don't have a heartbreak in 2019 like most of you have.
And 2019,
in case if it was to happen.
And 2019, everyone was very happy.
Exactly.
Oh, you've got New Zealand. This,
They were
that.
celebrating.
The mahal
So
at that
I'm
point was
very
very,
okay.
very.
Really?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh, yeah. It was borderline arrogant, saying, "Oh, we're prepared for the final now."
Exactly.
So I think that's different, no? But that was when the cloud cover came in. They had
Shashwat,
all
top
the
question.
That to the following day.
the following
That
day.
was perfect,
Yeah, so they got that benefit.
We've got Ashish Dhar asking, yesterday I felt as if India were preparing to play New Zealand in semi-final. They batted first, scored briskly, and then the bowlers were not getting wickets. Switched to part-timers. Also, New Zealand is favourite in semi-final.
Oh, that's a big one.
I don't
Wow.
think any of us agree with you, because I think amongst all of us, I'd be slightly in terms of percentage, while we'll give New Zealand percentage, but I still think India are the clear favourites in the semis. But he's right. The point that he makes, that India, when they're playing the game yesterday, even I got that feeling, that they were looking at the semi-final. You know, because chasing they've been doing well, so they said, let's bat first, let's get a big total. We need to get used to that, and it helped that Shreyas and KL get hundreds in different ways. KL has been, you know, the consolidating sort of batter till now. He batted in a different gear, so that I think worked for them. And I think the part-timers bowling is for that. If you have a bad half hour, not necessarily with the bat, but with the ball, you can always turn to your part-time.
Was this the first time that we beat New Zealand in an ICC World Cup?
Since 2003.
Since 2003.
Since 2003.
Soumya is saying, yes, he has bought the book and read the book. First book on cricket he read is One More Over. Jimmy Amarnath is the only Indian batter whose overseas average is much higher than his home average.
He's a fantastic player.
Isn't Ajinkya Rahane also like that, if I'm not mistaken?
A bit, yeah.
I think he's
so.
got
I
that
think he's
stat
got a
of
higher-
having more hundreds overseas
something of the
than
sort.
Maybe.
here at home.
Maybe. Okay. Vishal Panchal says from the US he's joining us. I can see in terms of the US dollars that he sent. He says, difficult to say that this is the best Indian team compared to 2011. You need to compare opponents also, 2023 versus 2011. But I agree, we do deserve to win. Valid point that Vishal makes. And it's always tough also, you know, comparing conditions and opposition and various other things that come with it. Okay, we'll take one question from Dex before Rajdeep goes. Any thoughts on the second semis?
I think it's an India-Australia's final in.
Do you know what? Your good friend,
Pradeep Gupta.
Pradeep Gupta, who you.
What does he say?
He's picked South Africa New Zealand final.
You got to take
That's
some with
now
him.
got me into trouble. Because Pradeep is, gets his political
We were
predictions
talking
right.
about the fact that how he got Bihar wrong.
But
Yeah, he's
everyone got wrong.
he's got a couple wrong. No, he's got Bihar wrong, he's got Bengal wrong, he got Karnataka wrong.
But Bihar, he got 100 seats right. Oh, sorry, West Bengal. He was the only one who said, okay, 110 seats.
तुक्का होता है यार बॉस जब
But you
चलता है
got to take
जब
this up
चलता है.
with him. He got FIFA prediction
But
right.
South Africa versus New Zealand is the ultimate sort of Cinderella final, right? Of two teams who've never won
Never won
before. South Africa has been so near yet so far. So has New Zealand. Look, if anyone, I don't want the Australians to win. I think they've won enough, and I don't think this team really is of that level of the previous Australian teams. I could be horribly wrong in that, but my sense is, if India doesn't win, then I want New Zealand is my next best. But I'm happy with South Africa wins as well. I like them. They seem to have exude a nice attitude on the field. But India's going to win this. I've thought about it and I've sort of circled my head around pressure. The only caveat, that toss in Mumbai. I think the worst thing that has happened. I mean, it's not so much the opponent; it's the ground. Wankhede is a tough ground when you're chasing. If the first team, as often happens, gets anything above 280.
We'll get you to join us live on the match day from the stadium.
Yeah, I'm trying to get tickets.
You just, see, the best thing about digital is we'll send you.
Okay.
From whichever place you're sitting, just.
Not if we are losing. Okay, the deal, Nikhil, is if we are winning now, I'll come happily. I'll celebrate with you. But if we are losing, it's going to be depressing. I'm going to go to the bar and it's going to be a long night. I'm going after a long time to see a match at the Wankhede. I haven't seen one for years.
Have you pre-match and mid-match? No,
You can have me whenever, as long as India is doing well. That toss, what is 130? 130 toss?
Yeah, 130 toss.
Yeah, I mean, Williamson has to lose that toss and Rohit has to win it. I told Dinesh this, I said, and I guess, as I said, for me, it's particularly special. My late father, in a way, was one of those who saw Rohit's talent as a young man. There's this lovely photo of him showing Rohit, how to drive. So it's for us Mumbaikars, for too long you all said, Mumbai is finished. I kept hearing this in the last 10 years. We produce one great player every 10 years, man. Rohit Sharma is our guy. Ajinkya Rahane, Test cricket, Rohit Sharma in one-day cricket. Rohit's going to do it.
In recent history, Delhi is overtaken in terms of great players. Virat Kohli, Virender Sehwag,
Gautam Gambhir.
Oh, come on, only Virat. Virat is your once in a generation. No, they're all great.
But Virat Sehwag is the all-time opener of your greatest ever Test team if you assemble.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Test team.
So we are
Test team.
You want to pit Sehwag against Sachin?
We can't.
No, but they're different together.
That's at number 4 in Test cricket. Virender Sehwag.
No, generations. For that generation.
But I'm saying in the recent past.
Let me not go by the Mumbai thing. The good thing about this team. Okay, the good thing about this team is they come from all over. Kuldeep Yadav, Uttar Pradesh. Where are you from?
Bengal, technically.
Bengal Tech. Do we have a good? We have Shami. You've got Shami.
No, Shami is from Amroha.
No. Let's be honest. Bengal gave him. Bengal made him, so we'll give him. I was in Hyderabad the other day covering the election, and the entire crowd started cheering the moment we mentioned Mohammad Siraj. So Hyderabad is looking good. Ravi Ashwin still around, so there's some sense for Chennai.
Much like the 83.
Then Raj.
83 team also had from Mumbai, from Delhi.
But very metro dominated.
Yeah, but at least
very big metro dominated.
They had the pan-India feel. Yeah. Yes, metro dominated, but a pan-India feel.
Now we've got what? Shubman is from
Punjab.
And came to Chandigarh to build his career, so was not from the big city. Kuldeep Yadav, Kanpur.
Ishan Kishan, Jharkhand.
Ishan Kishan, Jharkhand. So you've got that other thing. We've got a Jharkhandi like we had in 2011. So then we had Dhoni. Now we've got Ishan Kishan. What any city which is being Ahmedabad, Bumrah, the Gujaratis came complete.
Yes, Baroda, Pandya.
But technically you had Pandya. Who else is left? Shardul Thakur is Palghat, so we could say that Mumbai embraced him, but he is from small town
Mumbai.
Shreyas is Mumbai.
Four Mumbaikars then, no? Rohit, Shreyas, Sky, and Sharma.
What more do you want?
Technically,
we proved 4 Mumbaikars in the Indian. So Mumbai cricket is alive and well.
No, of course it is. I'm saying that
we haven't won the Ranji Trophy for a few years. But Sky. I mean, think about it. We've had a full conversation, not mentioned him. He could well be a match winner tomorrow.
KL Rahul, Bangalore.
So Bangalore is well represented. This is all basis. This is our
democracy level.
And we're going to win.
Okay.
We will see you on after the game. On all the naysayers will be taught on.
I'm not a naysayer.
We are seeing you live from Wankhede.
I'll give you that.
Yes, I will.
Okay, we'll take a few questions before we wind up. I'll see you. So there's Shubham. He's saying 2019 World Cup number 4 total runs was 268. Shreyas Iyer already has got 421 and counting. So clean shaven Iyer looks possessed by as a batter. He's doing it big and changing gears to
clean shave is a bit much because he has that weird little mustache, but I get his point.
But you know what he's talking about. In a team full of bearded guys.
He's doing Movember, as in the mustache November.
Only Shubman and him.
Ishan.
Kishan doesn't have much of a beard.
Little.
Kuldeep also.
Even Kuldeep wasn't very bearded.
Oh, now suddenly you've heard.
Well, I saw this trend on social
Sky
media.
has a stubble.
Light stubble.
Yeah, and
Rohit too. Bumrah too. Yes, Bumrah too.
Yeah.
Even me.
Siraj has. Shami
has. KL has. Virat has. Rohit also stubble.
Yep. But your point about Shreyas is well taken, and I think that's the one distinction that we made when Harshit pointed to that 2019 comparison. The one other thing that I think Shane pointed out, that number 4 that time you had an issue. You kept changing your number 4 during the World Cup. Here, nothing changed apart from the fact that Hardik Pandya got injured. So you're forced to make those changes. Otherwise, you've got everything sorted. Poor guy Ashwin hasn't even got a chance after having a decent outing in the first game that he played. He can't get a chance.
There's no way he can. How do you fit him in?
Yeah. Singularity from the UK says, have we ever beaten New Zealand in ICC knockout? Think not. Be it Champions Trophy, ODI World Cup or WTC, every time we met New Zealand in a knockout, we have lost. Time for Butler.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. That is correct.
Because the one match in the last 2 decades that you've not seen, India be disappointed was the match that got washed out. That's the only time. Otherwise, you lost all 3.
Yeah.
Okay, final question can we take? If
I think that one is already.
yeah.
Arian.
Rayan from UK says, my big 3 game players are Kohli, Jadeja, Siraj. That's an
shout.
interesting one. If you were to pick 3 big game players
For tomorrow or just...
any for India this World Cup, for tomorrow and the final.
Day after, technically, but
Not tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, day after. It'll be Bumrah, Kohli, Rohit.
For me, Bumrah, of course. And Virat, of course. Big match, temperament, Bumrah. And I'm a bit split between Shami and Rohit. But
I'll go for Jadeja as the third.
Also, but I'm going with Rohit.
Jadeja 2017, then 2019 as
Exactly.
well.
2019 he was a lone warrior.
I was split between Jadeja and Rohit, but Rohit just looked like a different character and the character that I wanted him to be, and it's coming off, and his sacrificing nature as well, like loving every bit of it.
Karthik's question.
He says that in the 2019 semi-final, New Zealand had the benefit of a day 2 with very helpful conditions. With Rohit Sharma, the captain, it feels that there's less pressure, and he hopes that India bullies New Zealand in this semi-final for 2019 revenge. Bullies.
Bully.
No, I mean, with the way Indian team is playing, they are quite capable of bullying New Zealand. But I like to remind you, and I said it earlier in the program, remember, they've bullied every other team that they met in this tournament, barring New Zealand. The only game actually where, if you're a neutral, you would enjoy. Otherwise, India games haven't been enjoyable because they've just steamrolled the opposition.
Correct.
They've been so dominant, which is good if you're an Indian fan, but I'm saying if you were to look at it in a neutral perspective, they've just been a couple of notches above every other team. But New Zealand is the only team which had those ups and downs that you see in an ODI game. Typical ODI game is, because it's quite long, there will be a situation where the other team is slightly ahead with their noses, and then the other team goes ahead, and that topsy-turvy situation continues till the end. And I think for India, that was the only game that had that. No other game. So, but I don't care if we do not get a close game in the semi-final. India win. I'll take that.
I'll take a same role.
I'm just saying, whatever form of revenge it is, cold, warm, hot, whatever it is, I just want to win.
But if there's one team where you don't want to take revenge, you want to beat them, but you don't want to bring revenge, Badla is New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand and team are nice guys. They're just ruthless. They're just sportingly ruthless.
Yeah.
They've not really done anything to you.
Exactly.
They're just sportingly ruthless. It's not like Australia where that grudge genuinely existed. Or Pakistan.
New Zealand on that side, in, like you say, in Hindi, ki हार के बुरा नहीं लगा types. Like those guys.
बुरा तो लगता
हार
है.
के जीतने वाले को बाजीगर कहते हैं.
Like something on those lines. Ki, you lose to like a quality team, you're okay on most days. Yes, of course the hurt has been real for India. But those aren't the guys who will rub it in your face. They'll be very quiet about their business, be it in victory or defeat.
If you listen to all the comments now also, I think they've been quite, accepting of the fact that India are the better team. They are, I think Bolt said that, I just read somewhere where he was saying, no, the way Indian team is playing, they clearly go in as the favourite. They are a dominating team, the way they've dominated the tournament. And I think New Zealand understand that, know that pretty well. So when they come for the semis, it's not that you come, prepared to lose. Of course, you come there trying to upset the apple cart, and I think they'll come to do that. But back of their minds, they know that they're up against it. They're up against a team that in living memory haven't dominated a World Cup like this. I remember I was at the 2007 World Cup, Australia didn't lose anything. But even then, during group stages, they weren't as dominant as what India have been. So, Piyush Nandre's comment is final because Shashwat insists we take it. Tell Rohit to shave, he says. Only clean-shaven captains have won the World Cup in last 3 decades. I see only Pat Cummins in this one. Yeah, Williamson and Temba.
Actually, yeah, if you're going, but Temba does have a beard.
That's what I'm saying. Both, everyone.
I'm just thinking of Scott Edwards. Was he clean shaven?
No, he had a little
He
bit
had
of
a little
stubble.
stubble.
No, but I'm thinking about like World Cup winning captains in this decade. He's
Doesn't matter. India have not beaten New Zealand in a World Cup knockout. That's going to change now.
Exactly.
So then even the bearded thing will change. Okay.
I think we
Final one.
have one more super chat. Yeah.
Shubham says that our batting lineup doesn't have a lefty in the top 6. A lot of people question, but Nikhil, you had said that if skill is there, doesn't matter if they're all right-handers. I mean, where do you fit in a left-hander though? That's part of the problem.
I like the theory. I think that's what he's saying, right? If you're a quality batter, that's all that you need to be.
Fine, no problem.
Like there have been some batters and captains rather in the past who truly believe in the fact that it is important to have a lefty right in the top because it helps you unsettle the bowling side and just play along with the lines a bit. But if you're a quality batter and be it whatever, left-handed, right-handed, on most days you are. Look at this Indian team, padded with right-handers but doing so well.
Right.
On that note, shall we?
Yes.
Take your leave. Thank you so much, guys.
Keep praying.
We're gonna give you, by the way, just to let you know, tomorrow we're gonna do a big preview on the semi-final with Harbhajan Singh and Suresh Raina. That's going to be coming your way tomorrow. So we'll see you then.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Bye bye. Take care.